Okay, as we take a look here at round two of your shooting video, we got a before and an after picture up, and I'm also going to leave my video up just so you can see what's going on with me at the same point in your shot, so you have another thing to look at. But I want you to concentrate on some of the things that you did fix here. So you got that ball on the right side of your body a little bit more, which is great, and your guide hand is staying flat, and you are going straight up and down a lot better than before, where you'll see where you were drifting forwards. Some of the things you want to concentrate on fixing still are holding your follow through stronger and longer and not letting that ball get so far out in front of you. Now, as you were making these adjustments on where you position the ball and working on going straight up and down and holding that guide hand flat, some other things crept up here. So you'll see how high you're starting here as you're thinking about the things that you're working on, like the ball, your balance at not falling forwards, and your guide hand staying flat. You see your body got up a little bit higher. You want to make sure you stay bent and you stay low and you stay wide at all times. Here from the front view, you can see your foot is in the air. You want to make sure your feet are planted before you start to go up, and you want to and looking at your right pocket here, where the ball's on the right side, much better than before, versus where the last time your ball was across the body just a little bit. So a good improvement here where you're holding the ball, a good improvement on going straight up and down, and a good improvement of usage of the guide hand. Now you want to make sure you get your right hand flexed back a little bit more. You can see where your hand is a little bit flat. It's like almost even with your forearm and even with your elbow, where you can see my hand is a little bit more bent back behind the ball. You'll see it right here just a little bit better. You want to make sure you have that gun loaded, so to speak, with your hand in a cocked back position from the beginning of your shot to the end. In your before shot, you see here your hand was on the side of the ball and was across your body. Now you'll see you got your hand behind the ball, so you're now perfectly lined up on the right side where you want to be. Just want to make sure you're sitting down in that strong stance a little bit more. Now you're going to see here where I'm talking about sitting down. You do get to a point where you dip down here as you did before, but now your dip down looks a little bit better because you're going to end up going straight up and down. Whereas you see in the before picture, you're going to start to lean forwards here. Right now you got a good sit down and you're not so much forwards, but let's take a look at the ball here. This is where your wrist has to be cocked back and the ball has to be in tight. What's happening here is you're using that time to find your balance from having your foot in the air and not having that strong stance early, and you're taking the ball up a little bit further behind you, and what that's doing is it's extending your shot, making it a little longer than it should be, and it's adding a big range of motion to where you start the ball to where you finish it. And also look how disconnected your elbow and your knee are here. You want to make sure that if you look at my picture, a little more straight up and down, and the elbow and knee are still kind of connected. They're only about 16 to 18 inches apart, where your elbow and knee could easily be 2.5 feet apart here, maybe 3 feet apart. When you disconnect like that, you've uncoiled too early and you lose your spring. Now let's take a look at the release of your shot just after the ball is leaving your hands here. We got all three pictures. You can see how far forwards you were getting before. Now you're a little more straight up and down, which is excellent. But you want to make sure you still fully extend that right arm. You want to lock your elbow and snap your wrist to get to a point of full extension. You have your elbow bent slightly and your wrist isn't fully down. Here you get to a point where you get that elbow locked out a little bit better. The guide hand looks really good. It's not influencing the ball as much. So you're going to have to figure out how to get from where you were using that guide hand to influence the ball for power, where you see on the before picture, to now using your legs and the spring, the coiled spring from having that strong sit down. You need to use that as your power source. And you'll figure that out as you go and work on your shot from close range with lots of good form shooting drills. So for the last few clips here, I want to take a look at you side by side here, the before and after. You can see how you were going forwards versus how you were going straight up a little bit more now. You still want to hold that follow through a little stronger longer. I like how the ball's positioned more on the right. You have less of that windshield wiper motion across your body, but you don't want to really bring that ball all the way back. You have good vision now. Your shooting window looks good because your elbow is over on the right and the ball won't block your face. You just want to make sure you don't rock the ball backwards. So I want you to concentrate on being good at this. Sitting, having your feet planted, and just working on bringing the ball up small and tight from your pocket right over in front of your right shoulder, and bringing that ball up with your hand in a cocked back ready position from the beginning. You don't want this big long, drawn-out motion. You don't want that ball really going backwards. You want to make sure you let go of it a little bit early and on the way up.